Well, hello there, and welcome to our studio here. We have this program called No Dutch, No Problem Volunteer. At no time it should mean that you shouldn't speak Dutch or learn Dutch. It just means that if you're new to the city of The Hague, or maybe you've been here for some time but just have a limited understanding of Dutch, well, then this program is just perfect for you, and Volunteer The Hague project is there for you. Well, here in the studio, we have two beautiful guests, Deborah Valentine and Kathy Delhanty, and myself, Tatiana Benzeral. I'm the project manager of Volunteer The Hague project. It's a unique project that helps internationals in the city of The Hague to connect with local Dutch nonprofit organizations. Well, Deborah Valentine is the executive director of Access and empathetic leader, supporting teams, projects, and people in transition. Deborah has lived in the Netherlands for over 10 years and in 8 other countries before that, some more than once. She currently leads a team of international volunteers at Access and has a wealth of volunteering experience in many countries she has lived in, including the Netherlands. And her organization, Access, has been serving the needs of the international community of The Hague for over 35 years. And Access, from what I know, is the volunteer organization that is run by internationals for internationals. So, Deborah, internationals. Why internationals? What makes them so unique?
But before I go into what makes them so unique, just a very quick, we were started within the international community because there was a need within the international community for connection.
Nice.
There was a need for support, for meeting one another, for overcoming some of the challenges of relocation. So that's why we exist still today after 35 years. What makes internationals unique? I think more than anything, the diversity that we have within the community. So the people who volunteer with us respond to inquiries from the community, and it doesn't matter where you're from. Management of the English language is basically the one basic requirement that we have for the work we do. So
Nice.
I think our diversity is our unique factor.
Beautiful. All right. Well, and here, on the other hand, from me, we have Cassie Delhanty, social activist, international professional speaker, and the founder of the Stichting Wool for Warmth. She has been enriching the Hague's international community for 20 years with her energy and drive to bring warmth where it is the most needed. Last year, Cassie was honored with the Pearl of the City of The Hague Award for her work with the emancipation of women in The Hague. Cassie's charity, Wool for Warmth, builds communities of volunteers who need scarves, hats, and warm clothes for The Hague's homeless people. Impressive cause. Kathy, so tell me a little bit about your organization, because I know you also have internationals mainly in your organization. So why internationals? What makes them so unique as well for your organization?
Hey, well, we have two types of volunteers. We have the international group and the Dutch group. Most of our knitters, we have around 1,000 knitters here in The Hague, and they're mostly Dutch ladies, and we reach them through community centers, nursing homes, and places to help older women. But then we have skill-based volunteers, and that we draw those from the international community. We have skill-based, for example, for just the same reasons as Access. A lot of women very isolated, mostly women we find here, very isolated, very highly skilled, highly educated, and yet isolated from the Dutch society. They're trying to get in. They can't find out how come they can't get jobs. They try and still can't get jobs. And so they come to us and we can set up a project specifically in their career. And then they can then have a specifically made targeted project that we give them a reference for.
Lovely. Yeah. All right. Well, Deborah, from your experience, what do you think should candidates look for in organizations? When they look for volunteer opportunities, well, most likely they will research some volunteer organizations. So what are the red flags? What may be something that they should be looking out for? So what would be your advice there?
Well, my first advice is to research. So investigate well the organizations. But even before you start doing that, what is it you want to achieve?
Yes, so true.
Volunteering is obviously serves greater communities. You can be of service to other organizations, but it should serve you as well. And so I think if you understand well what you want to do, somebody may want to volunteer just once a month for a couple of hours, or paint a bridge, or build a bridge, or some other people might want something regularly during the week. So I think you have to first understand exactly what it is you want to do with volunteering, what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And based on that, do the research and ask critical questions of the people or the organizations that you're approaching. I love what Kathy does, but I would never go because I don't knit. So me volunteering with Wool for Warmth would make no sense.
And we could sort that out.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. So I think you have to, be critical of yourself, but also ask critical questions of the organization. And I think the organizations better be prepared, should be prepared for those critical questions. If they are unable to answer them, that raises a red flag already because
sure.
your expectations may not be met.
Yeah, so true. I always ask volunteers, keep in mind that the interview is a two-ways road. Make sure that you ask your questions, that you research the organization well, and just make sure that you have answers. And then because otherwise you can waste your time, your organization's time, and nobody needs that.
Yeah.
Well, Cassie, I know you have a lot of volunteers in your organization,
Yes.
and I've been always wondering, so how do you select those volunteers? What makes a good volunteer?
Well, with the two types. First, with the knitting clubs, we choose clubs that have a strong leader. So as one person stepped up and said, I will volunteer to run this club. And they have the sort of the drive and the organizational skills to do that. And then that's basically from them a cause. They want to bring people
support,
together to stop loneliness and sit around knitting and chatting. But for the professional skill of volunteers, we've been to PEP and had our human resources processes certified.
Nice.
And we find that really important that we run the core business team as a business. So they have to require motivational letters. We put advertisements at Volunteer the Hague in English and in Dutch. So we are very diverse. We take everybody that fits. We have no discrimination. But we really make sure that we behave like a business. And it surprises people because they hear, oh, knitting club, that's nice. And then they come and find out that behind the knitting club is actually a very strong business organization.
Well, you have experience yourself
Yes.
in business development, so that's nice. And I remember how you were starting the organization. It feels a little bit kind of like Volunteer that he contributed to that
Very
as well. Well,
We sort
access,
of built it hand in hand with you because we use you as a place to recruit.
yes.
And then we got our certification through you. The Pearl of the Hague Award was also from PEP.
Yes.
And then, but we want people to know that we're a business team. A lot of our core people are engineers. So we have very strong project management skills, organizational skills. And I love business development, so you got to be really careful because I always say yes and the thing just grows and grows and grows. So send us more volunteers, Tatiana, please.
Of course. And Access has always been like a bigger sister for us, the older sister. Well, you guys been here for so long, and every time I need an advisor, sometimes we have an activity happening, and I need a fresh perspective of the international community of The Hague. I always call Deborah, like, Deborah, could you join, please?
Well, I mean, it's a nice addition to The Hague because as the international community has grown exponentially over the years, I mean, there was a period when access was one of the few non-Dutch requirements because our volunteers are predominantly when they first arrive, so they don't speak Dutch yet. But as the city has grown, as the international community has grown, as people are looking for more opportunities, it's wonderful that Volunteer The Hague is here because for instance, our volunteering is Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Some people want to volunteer, but they can't do it during working hours. But there are places, other organizations, where they can. So I think we work well and supplement each other well, I think.
Yes, that's so true.
Tatiana, when we set up our human resources department, we actually did it the opposite way. We found 2 recruits through Volunteer The Hague who were
Nice
human resource
success
specialists.
stories here. Love it.
But they were human resource specialists.
Yeah.
And actually both from India, one from North India and one from South India. And then, so we didn't have any human resource at all, the policy. So we hired the 2 ladies through you, and then they went through the certification process at PEP. So we used the PEP certification process to actually build our human resources with these 2 women who are looking for human resource jobs. So they have not just we can give them not just a reference for being HR selectors, but also for having put the company through the process and got the certification.
Well, references. We were just speaking about references in the work and career section just before that. Well, ladies, what would you advise our viewers? What would be the takeaway from the organizational perspective? So what do you think internationals should look for in their volunteer opportunities? Just probably from the bottom of your hearts, what would you advise to the international community?
I think they should just not be afraid.
Nice.
There's a lot of people feel quite isolated, or they tap in and say, no, you're not qualified, but just go and try. Because people are always surprised. If you were worried about how things looked, you would never come to us.
Yeah.
But when you come in, you find that there's a whole lot of opportunities that aren't advertised or we can set up for you. So if you come in and you say, hey, but I'm really good at this thing, we can say, hey, guess what? We happen to need that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know we needed that thing, but we certainly do now. So we have the flexibility to build something for you.
All right.
So don't be afraid, just go out.
Yeah.
So basically, if somebody has skills in a certain field and they don't necessarily find a volunteer opportunity within your organization or maybe on Volunteer The Hague website, they just should go ahead, contact the organization and just mention, I'm good at this and that.
Treat it
Do
like
you
a
need me?
recruitment. Like
Yes.
when you're going cold calling for job interviews, it's the same. So you can cold call for recruitment, volunteer interviews the same way.
Yeah, so true. Well, Deborah, how about you?
Yeah, there's a great Dutch expression, nee heb je, ja kun je krijgen, which basically means the answer is no until you ask. And for some people, as Kathy points out, it is a question of being brave. When you first arrive and you do feel isolated and everything around you seems to be working against you, then it requires double braveness
Yeah.
to step out. But certainly, because of Volunteer The Hague and the multitude of organizations looking for volunteers in English as well, these are people who are prepared for braveness.
Yes.
And they're there to help.
They're already
So-
here, but they've already taken the first step to leave their country.
Exactly.
So they're ahead of most people.
You're not on your own. So, so yeah, until you ask, the answer is going to be no. So
I love that. Until you ask, the answer is going to be no.
Tatiana, what we've found in the 2 years we've been really active, of the 4 years we've been going, we have over 50 cultures. We have a global board, and we have people pin their own cultures. 50 cultures, 7 years old to 104. Men, women, white, black,
Wow.
every religion, no religion, everything.
Cool.
And
Oh,
you wouldn't
that's
find it if you
impressive.
didn't go knock on the door.
You didn't go knock on the door, so make sure to knock on those virtual doors. Well, thank you very much, Deborah and Kathy, for joining us in this studio. Please don't leave yet. We're gonna roll for a short intermission, just a very nice video about Volunteer The Hague services, and then we're gonna be back in the studio with 2 volunteers, and then we're gonna hear the volunteer perspective on volunteer world. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Well, hello there, and welcome to this beautiful harbor of The Hague. Isn't this nice to be outside? And if you would like to ever volunteer outside, well, there are many different opportunities, from gardening to entertaining elderlies. It's pretty cool. Or, you know, maybe you would like to put your professional skills to use, or improve your Dutch, or maybe emerge into the community and get to know Dutch mentality better. Well, there are ways to do that, especially through volunteering. And Volunteer The Hague is here for you.
Volunteering, volunteering, volunteering,
Volunteering. Volunteering.
volunteering, volunteering,
Volunteering.
volunteering.
Skill.
Children,
Teaching. Animals.
inspiration, experience, helping, artist,
Creativity.
culture.
Gardening.
So, volunteer. Sounds good, right? But where to find a way to volunteer? Where to find these volunteer opportunities? Well, we have an answer for you. Check out Volunteer The Hague website. There you can find numerous volunteer opportunities, ranging from helping elderlies to looking after animals, you name it. The website is very dynamic. Local Dutch nonprofit organizations are posting their vacancies very actively there. Once the vacancies get filled, they're being taken down from the website, the new ones come up. So it's a really cool website, and the project, Volunteer The Hague project, is the unique project of the entire Netherlands, and it's funded by the municipality of The Hague, and it's being run by the local Dutch non-profit organization PAP Den Haag. So what exactly makes it so unique? Well, all the volunteer opportunities that are there, they are suitable for somebody who has a limited understanding of Dutch or maybe doesn't even speak Dutch at all. So it's pretty cool, especially for those who are new to The Hague or just starting here in The Hague. So it's nice. Or maybe you've been here for quite a long time and now you are ready to contribute to the community. Or maybe you even would like to emerge into the Dutch mentality to find out more how the local Dutch non-profits function. That's the way to go. Check out Volunteer The Hague. But don't just take my word for that. Let's see what the Volunteer The Hague community has to say about us.
You guys are doing a great job. I love the energy. I'm very new to The Hague and I think it's a great opportunity for someone like me.
Get to see a lot of organizations and also see what volunteer opportunities there are.
I realized that there is a way with which I can get to know more and more people by joining Volunteer The Hague. It's really brilliant. I really like it.
It's a great initiative. As we see, a lot of people have difficulties finding volunteer opportunities in English. People are afraid because a lot of volunteer organizations are mainly Dutch. And it's a great way to connect internationals to opportunities.
Volunteer The Hague is a very good mean to get what you want. Because many people don't understand voluntary work is not paid, but it pays more. Because you do it because you like it and then you do it with a lot of energy.
It's definitely made me much more aware of how many charities are here. You sort of hear of the big international ones that publicise the most, whereas it's actually the little ones that sort of need the most help and you don't hear about them.
It's very interesting because you have options and then you can choose from those options. If something works, and if it works, it's great. It's a win-win for everybody.
As Billy helped me to understand that, taking up a volunteering job is also really good for your professional development, developing your skills, and also for networking.
Today's my first week in Netherlands, and I've enjoyed your program. I hope you continue this program.
It's the way to defeat loneliness. It's the way to connect people when they're looking for for somebody outside there in the community that they can connect, somebody that understands their value and their mission and what they think important in their life. And I think what you do is amazing, is unique.
Oh, it's so nice to see our international community coming together again. Oh, what a great time we had. I miss those times. Well, now we've been doing all the activities online, from mix and match networking events where we invite local Dutch non-profit organizations and internationals like yourself to mix and mingle, sign up for volunteer opportunities. So stay tuned, one of those is coming. Well, we also have been doing webinars and bringing together the community and sharing some key and interesting news and activities there. So it's quite cool. Well, I'm getting nostalgic a little bit. Shouldn't we travel back in time and see how it was before? We're here at the Feel at Home Fair, so let's see how the Feel at Home Fair turned out to be last year.
We need to prepare for Sunday, so let's do it.
So the reason we're doing this in both sides, like the positive and the negative, so that you can brainstorm for yourself, like what was there that just completely drove me nuts.
We're here in the Finland Home Fair, yay!
Well, hello again, and we are back here to the studio. And this time we have two volunteers here, representatives from the volunteer community, Ali and Radhika. Well, Ali was born in Lebanon. He has lived in the Netherlands for over 8 years and in 3 other countries. Ali is a sales engineer at, forgive me if I'm going to mispronounce your company, because I've Geofy, yes, thank you. I'm like FIFA. At Geofy, former volunteer social media strategist at Volunteer The Hague, and also proud member of the Volunteer The Hague community and international community of The Hague. Here we have Radhika Malencia, who was born in Moldova in Eastern Europe. She has lived in the Netherlands for over 5 years and in 2 other countries. Radhika is a project manager at the Center for International Legal Cooperation and former volunteer communications manager at Volunteer The Hague, and also a proud member of Volunteer The Hague community and international community of The Hague. Well, thank you for joining me here in this studio. So you both have an extensive volunteer experience. So tell me, what motivated you to volunteer?
Yeah, when I came to the Netherlands 5 years ago, I knew the basic things about what the Netherlands is known for, and that is tulips, flatland, bicycles, people biking everywhere. So I thought the best way for me to get to know the culture and dive into it is to volunteer, and that's what I did. So I had a feeling that volunteering would allow me to connect to a new community, and as a newcomer, I was really looking for new connections.
Nice, networking right there, huh?
Yeah, so I dedicated my time to volunteer, to make new friends, expand my network, boost my social and professional skills, and gain confidence.
Super, sounds like a strategic volunteering right there.
Yeah, and when you move to a new country, everything is new. You don't know where to turn. So as a result, you might get a feeling of insecurity like I had. But when I started to volunteer, I really gained a lot of confidence in myself.
Nice.
And it showed me what I knew and what I was capable of.
Super.
As you can hear, volunteering, I gain a lot from volunteering, but the beauty is that, the beauty about it is that I gained from giving.
Yeah.
Volunteering allowed me to give back and make meaningful contributions in many different ways, and that is what motivated me the most.
Wow, so beautifully said. Thank you, Radhika. Ali, how about you? What motivated you?
I actually had a few motivations. Similar to Radhika, I was new in the country. I just moved back in. I found a new job. I didn't have many connections. I knew little Dutch back then, and I wanted to meet more people, have a larger social network, and at the same time be able to do something that fits my interests and enhances my skills or makes me learn new skills. In the case of Volunteer The Hague, I didn't know much about social media before, but I developed that skill to be more of a fit or more of a use into the Volunteer The Hague team.
Fantastic. Oh, it's really nice. I'm just speechless. All these motivational ideas. This is really good. I'm sure that all the viewers here can relate to each and every point you mentioned. Well, Ali, here you were employed and you also volunteered at the same time. How did you manage that?
My job, the nature of my job, allowed me to have a lot of free time outside working hours, and I think a lot of jobs do. So I thought of this free time as an opportunity to do something that I'm interested in, and all of the free time was, or a big part of the free time was dedicated into finding something that I can help with. Volunteering fit right into that free time. So logistically, it was not a big effort. It was quite easy.
But it made a huge difference for Volunteer The Hague back then, I can tell you. Well, Radhika, and you have also an extensive volunteer experience. You also volunteered at Volunteer The Hague, and then you found a job. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how volunteering maybe helped you to find the job that you were looking for.
Yeah, indeed, I did a lot of volunteering work before, and my last experience was at Volunteer The Hague as a communications manager. And that really exposed me to the business community in The Hague, so meeting a lot of organizations. The job that I have now does not have a direct link to my job, to the volunteering experience, but that prepared me very well for the job that I do now. And I can give you a short example.
Please do.
When I have to prepare events or large meetings, I know where to go to, who to get in contact with because of my volunteering experience.
Nice. So experience, right? That's probably one of the main reasons people do volunteer, not just to have blanks on those CVs, but also to gain that valuable experience that they can later on bring on table to their potential volunteers, and also the references and to immerse themselves into the community. It's Yes, it's an amazing way to be a part of the community and also to probably in the future find a job, right? Well, you've been in the Netherlands for quite some time. And you volunteered, and you're also employed. We have different viewers who are looking, who are watching this program. Some of them are employed, some of them are looking for a job. So, Ali, in your case, because you were employed and also volunteered, what would you advise to those who already secured the job, but also would like to do something new or volunteer, maybe have some time on their hands and would like to try something new? What would be your advice to them?
My advice would be sitting down, looking at what you already know, what interests you have, what skills you have, what skills are you want to have or you want to develop, and check what's available and see if any of them is interesting to you, if it matches your skill set, and just ask more questions. Just contact the organization, see if they need someone with your profile. You don't have to commit to something huge at first. Sometimes it's that fear of like, oh no, I'm expected to volunteer for like a year on a daily basis. That's not the case. Sometimes it requires maybe a few hours a week, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and yeah, that's it. Just see what matches your profile and go for it.
Yeah, and I remember in your case, we were meeting just once a week for an hour or two after working hours because you were working, and I could pick your brain about some ideas. Then you had some assignments to do at home, and it was a fantastic dynamic. It was the first time for Volunteer The Hague to have a volunteer who was employed also and was working, and motivation of Ali was just impressive. And of course, all the skills that you brought to Volunteer The Hague, it was fantastic. Well, good to see you again here in the studio with us. And Radhika, what would you say to those who are looking for a volunteer job, maybe a bit more vulnerable in the way because they haven't secured a position yet, a paid position. They are maybe looking for a volunteer opportunity, maybe have found a volunteer opportunity. But what would you advise them for those who are looking for a job? So what would you advise them? How volunteer maybe can help them out?
Yeah, first thing is start volunteering.
Nice. Start at the start, right?
Yeah, this will really open doors and many opportunities. And I highly recommend that, especially if you're a newcomer. This is the best way to get to know how things work in this country. Network. This, I mean, okay, during Corona, this is challenging, but it's crucial. Whenever you have the opportunity, the chance to go network, do it. You'll meet new people. You'll meet organizations, go network. And the next thing I would like to also mention is put yourself out there. Knock on doors. You never know when you may not knock at the right door and you find the right job. Yeah. Learn the language. This is, Dutch is hard, but crucial. It's important. It will open the doors to not just within the expat community, but also outside that. Yeah. Don't get behind education. Make sure you learn, improve your skills, and yeah, there are so many things that you can learn, free, platforms where you can learn new skills. And the last thing is stay positive.
Oh, one of the most important ones, right?
Yeah, and don't be bothered by the weather here. Oh, it rains, but there's always sun after the rain.
Yes. Oh, how I miss your positivity, Radhika. Radhika was also contributing to Volunteer The Hague back almost 4 or 5 even years ago. Yes, she was a valuable member of Volunteer The Hague community, and the role of communications manager is a huge loss to see you leave for a job. But you also got pregnant, and you have a beautiful, not a baby boy anymore, but a boy. So what would you maybe mention to those who get pregnant while they are volunteering as well? Because then it's really tough to juggle. And in your case, you juggled not just having a child, but also work. And I know you had some ideas about volunteering as well. So what would be your advice to those ones?
I learned from the Dutch. I find it amazing how the Dutch woman, balance everything, work, volunteer, family. And it's a great combination to put all together, and that's how I managed.
Nice.
So don't be stuck at home. Volunteer, take care of your family, but also do your job well.
Nice. Well, we learn from the best. Well, we're in the Netherlands, so it's good to see what the Dutch community is doing. And of course, they're juggling so many responsibilities themselves. It's impressive. So kudos to them. Well, thank you very much, Radhika and Ali, for joining us in this studio. This is all the time that we had for this program. But please, the viewers, visit Volunteer The Hague website. We have hundreds of volunteer opportunities listed over there. If you cannot find a volunteer opportunity that is of interest to you, then just research organizations, see what kind of causes they have, what kind of volunteer opportunities they're offering out there, and assess your skills, and then get in touch with them directly and say, hey, I can do this and that for you. Would you like me? Would you like me to volunteer for you? Well, thank you once again very much for staying with us, and looking forward to seeing you at our future events and activities.